right, here we go. Finally. Okay. So sorry about that. I royally screwed up. Going live here with Dave Kittle, and well, apparently I can't do it anymore on my computer. I mean, it's been a while since I've done it, but that's not even an option anymore. So as soon as he gets on here, we will get started. From Dave Kittle from the Cash PT 101 forum. And like I was saying before, Dave and I have known each other for, trying to think, it's been, hey, Eric, Dave and I have known each other for about 2.5 years. And TJ, what's going on? Natasha, how's it going? So, there we are. There's Dave. There we go. Now we're at it. Jared, what's going on, man? How's everybody doing today? Hope everybody's having a great Thursday. And so, like I was saying, Dave and I have known each other for about 2.5 years. We started. There you are. I was just saying we've known each other for about 2.5 years. We started. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. I couldn't hear you first. But yeah, I was just saying we've known each other for about 2.5 years. We started talking back in the initial. That was a while ago.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. What's going on?
Oh, hey, thank you so much for being here. Oh, not much, man. So how are you doing today?
I'm feeling great. I'm ready to hopefully provide value to your audience. And that is literally the only reason of being here. No pitch, no push, nothing other than if you're a guest on a podcast or a show or whatever. I think it's the guest's duty to try to be helpful and valuable to the audience. So hopefully I can deliver that for you guys today.
Hey, good morning, Jared. How are you? So, Dave, the Cash PT forum, you got in with that. How long did you get in with on that? How long ago was that you guys started to work together on the Cash PT forum? And maybe you could tell us about what led you to that. What was the step between, initial and moving into that? Eric?
Sure. Yeah. So, yes, if you guys don't know, I'm a physical therapist. I'm in New York City, Brooklyn specifically. I've been a therapist for 8 years. I've always been entrepreneurial, just like Ray, probably just like a bunch of you that are here in the group. And I had a software company that was a HIPAA compliant messaging app. And that's kind of where I really got to know Ray. And we're talking over the past couple of years about trying to provide software solutions that help practice owners from around the country, help them help more of their patients and provide a better patient experience. So I had some developer issues after a couple of years of doing that. I was doing that full time. I had left my full-time job. And on the side, I was seeing some private pay patients, clients, friends, referrals, people that I knew or was being referred to in New York City. And so I was going to them in Brooklyn, Manhattan, whatever. And that was kind of like just to cover the bills. Because Ray, it takes a lot of time and effort to ramp up a startup or any business for that matter, you guys. So with student loans and with other bills, like you have to cover the bills. And my wife's a physical therapist. My wife, Annie, is a physical therapist as well. But, I still had to chip in and do my half and do my part to cover the bills and do all that stuff. So that is where I found myself seeing patients on the side, out of pocket, kind of just making stuff up along the way, just really making all the common mistakes and not really knowing what I was doing. But it was a good time in terms of kind of it's just another entrepreneurial path. And once you're kind of in that mindset of like trying to make something happen, even if something, blows up and falls apart, like there'll be another way. And that's in a nutshell how I got connected with Ron Miller and helping other physical therapists now across the country with their cash-based physical therapy, brick and mortar, mobile, whatever. But that was kind of my weaving and navigating of how I went from software and technology to back more into the physical therapy world of treating.
Right. I think I love you guys' model. Like you kind of do the concierge thing, and then Ron, he's doing the brick and mortar, correct? So
correct.
Like you guys, both sides of the cash PT market, the concierge market, and there's tons of people out there, that are doing, the concierge way, and there's a lot of people doing brick and mortar. I like that you guys have both of those covered. Like, has that given you guys any unique perspectives, on the cash pay model? Like, is there anything that you find that like differs from the in-home concierge or wherever you're seeing them versus the brick and mortar?
Yeah, I mean, well, one thing is like the newer grads that are coming out of school over the last couple years or the last 5 or 10 years, they have a lot of student debt. And so they don't want to go and open up an office like you have, Ray, because of overhead of an office and rent and all that. So it's super common now to where physical therapists are going into a CrossFit box and paying much less to kind of have some space, or going and seeing patients in their home or their home gyms or their offices or workplaces. So it's a super low overhead, and that's where a lot of physical therapists are getting into it. Yeah, in terms of like helping others out there, we cover the brick and mortar side, we cover the mobile concierge. And so really we kind of cover like the two biggest possible settings. And that's definitely a big leverage point in terms of like helping other PTs kind of like all in one roof in terms of one place where they can get help from us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I love I love the people that are like you, that are out there pushing us into new avenues. Like it's pretty awesome. And, giving a lot of people that are, kids, like you were saying, that don't want to do that they don't want to open a brick and mortar clinic. It's giving them another option. It's giving people options, people a way out, people a way forward into where they want to be. Now, one of the benefits of the cash pay is you get around our nemesis in, well, I know you do some out of network, some in the documentation.
Yes.
That's one of the things that you and I have talked about, that it's one of the really nice things about what you do, is that there's not much in the way of documentation compared to what we're having to deal with being, in the in-network model. And well, I do some out of network, but primarily in network, but even the documentation is the same for both for me. So
yeah, I mean, whatever the minimum of your state practice act is, like all you would need to do in terms of like writing it up in like as simple as like a Word doc or a Google doc, or typing it, or even writing it. I know like there's practice owners that are cash based that just do like a sentence or two for each section of their soap note. And I know Katie Homan, shout out guys, Hino, check out Hino. She just jumped on live on this call earlier, and she's probably cringing because she knows that there are physical therapists out there that are still doing notes by hand. But in terms of the cash-based stuff, it is actually still super common, because someone might look at a price point of like an EMR and they're going to say, well, do I even need that? Do I need that overhead? And then that's why we don't really teach it, but there's a lot of cash physical therapy, like marketers and business coaches that talk about like using Google Docs. So I think that's why, but if you want to grow something bigger and think about something long-term, I think you should get an EMR like whatever you might be coming out with, Ray, or Hino or something like that. Because if you're thinking small about using Google Docs, then you're probably just going to stay small forever if you're trying to like limit your overhead and minimize like those types of things.
Yeah. They EMRs do have value. Like, for AR, for your billing, for all of that, it's really nice. Some of the other stuff is just a little cumbersome. The documentation of it, especially those who grew up in the system like I did when we dictated. And, it was like 15, 20 minutes a day. I did it in my car on the way home and I was done. Now it's hanging over my head all weekend. But what I really wanted to kind of ask you about was, so how are you guys serving in your cash group, in the cash 101 forum? The Cash Physical Therapy 101 forum. Like, what are you guys doing to serve your audience? This always gets me, because, well, I'm trying to serve the people here that are part of my group, and I'm wondering what you guys are doing and how you're doing that.
Yeah, I'll definitely describe how we're doing it. Let me do a quick little marketing hook. Now, here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to drop like a little nugget, and it's going to be something to try to keep you longer on this video call. Again, I'm not pitching anything. I'm not selling anything, but if you're interested in elevating your Google ranking, which is one thing that we help physical therapists with. And if you're watching this, if you're a physical therapist, or if you are working in any type of business, then your Google ranking is really important, right? So I said to Ray in the pre-interview, when we were talking about setting up this interview, I said, I would love to just mention to your audience that I would love at the end of this call to describe how my cash practice, so my practice here in New York City is called Concierge Pain Relief. And if you guys Google Home Physical Therapy NYC and you hit the there's like the Google Map part on the top, and you hit more places. My business listing right now is around eighth on that list, on that map page on the first page. Now, last October, I was on page 43. My business was on page 43 less than a year ago. Now I'm on the first page. There's some things I'd love to just offer and tell you guys for free about how I have done that. You got to stay to the end. That's a little marketing hook to try to keep you engaged longer. And obviously you can come back, watch the replay later if you wanted to. So that's the teaser. And most people who are in marketing will do those teasers, but they won't tell you about why they're doing it. But anyway, so you were asking about how we're serving physical therapists, right? We have a couple of different offerings. We have digital courses about marketing, business, and sales. Ethical sales, it's things that we don't learn in physical therapy school anyway. So you either learn it from like a business coach, or you might have to leave the physical therapy industry and go to some other content or read other books to learn about marketing and sales and business. If you're a practice owner that's trying to actually navigate this decline in reimbursement and trying to navigate like better revenue, better profits. So we have that. We have some semi-private mastermind. We have a mastermind that's like a weekly live in a private Facebook group every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And then we have one-on-one coaching and calls for someone who's even more serious. And you guys can check out it. Again, I'm not pitching or selling anything. You can check this out. You can go to cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org. So cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org. You can check out some of the offering there. But like I said, my point on jumping on this video and helping out Ray and just catching up with Ray is actually to help you guys in the audience. So if anyone is here live, if you want to drop any questions or comments about, business or sales or marketing or even technology, maybe we can answer that as well. I'd be happy to help you guys on this call or in the replay in the comments about how we can help physical therapists. But like I said, I want to just help you guys provide massive value. And I think that's the way that most physical therapy business owners can succeed. If you just on the front end provide so much massive value, then the income and all that other stuff will follow.
Right. And I agree completely. When we were talking about specifically about that, offering more to people thing even before we, got into this, and that's kind of, it's got to be in you. Like, it's got to be ingrained in you. It's got to be something that you feel just that you want to do. Naturally, we have to make money doing it. If we don't make money doing it, we can't continue. But, just that need to want to help, want to serve people kind of, drives you to do the stuff like you're talking about, like the Google reviews and, like me, that's, like we were talking about the tool that I've created, and, I think it's funny you were saying about the teaser also. That I'm thinking about that in my webinar, like that's how it's structured. Hey, stay until the end, and we've got some gifts for you. That's how these things are structured. They always are. That's what we do. That's how we get people, and you got to do that with your patients. Like, you have to work that into your offer, with your patients. Hey, if at the end of our thing, I give away, for example, at the end of my I give away a free wellness thing because I have a gym attached to my clinic.
At the end of a plan of care and discharge?
Yes.
Okay.
So then I work out another visit at 1 month to make sure that we're still doing well, that everything's going well. And then naturally I upsell them to buying a gym membership from me. But it's something that I tease them out with. It's something that hey, look, I'm going to help you. Even beyond this, when we're done, I'm going to help you. So I give them a carrot at the end of the stick to keep them motivated. Do you do anything like that with your patients? I know it's a little bit different being cash in home or, concierge, wherever you're seeing them. But is there anything like that you do or that you work in by chance?
So my patients that I go and see, they're either half of the population that I see, half are busy professionals, and it's like orthopedic issues. So it's like knee, shoulder, back, all the, neck pain, back pain, knee pain, or shoulder pain, like the normal top orthopedic issues. That's half of the population who is interested in home physical therapy, because those are the busy professionals that want a therapist to come to their home before or after work because they're still working, or they're busy and they want the convenience. They don't want to go to an office, go sweat at a physical therapy office, have to shower. Most of the offices don't have showers, so they got to come home and shower, then change, put a suit on or dress, work attire, and then go back out to work. So that population is part of my niche population. Then the other half is kind of like the geriatric population that's neuro, gait training, and all that. So once we get closer to achieving any of the longer term goals for patients, we kind of have we don't have a formal discharge process. So we have some folks that they want us to continue to maintain visits with them. So you could call it maintenance or wellness or whatever. And I don't really, because we're 75% cash based, I don't even worry about the definition of, are we providing physical therapy or hands-on, if it's needed or not? Is it skilled care or not? Is it considered wellness or not? I don't even worry about that because it's easy that way. And there's people that are really busy, or they just love the convenient service, that they say, hey, I would love for you to just come back every week, once a week, or every 2 weeks. Or we have some clients that we see just once a month. And I know we'll get to a couple of questions. I know Katie had asked a question. So at this time, I've had around 8 independent contractors work for me, work underneath me. We can talk about that in terms of the business model and even compensating them and everything. I'd be happy to describe any of that. And so I tell my physical therapist the same thing. I say, hey, you don't have any productivity goals. You get paid per visit that you go see them. And if you don't see them, then you don't get paid as a 1099 independent contractor. But I don't hover over them about, you need to see more visits or you need to schedule, whatever. But they do understand my background of some of the clientele of some people want a therapist to check in with them every month. So I tell them I said to them, hey guys, there's some patients that just want this service ongoing, almost like retaining a lawyer, like retaining an attorney. Some people in New York City they start to like a service and they just want to continue it. So it doesn't mean we have to stop people and discharge them and you're not making progress, whatever. I believe there's always more goals to achieve with someone. If they're getting more active, then you could have bigger goals, like walk farther, travel longer, whatever it may be. So we don't have that traditional physical therapy model of discharging people and cutting them off. And, Jerry Durham always talks about why would you ever, we're the only, healthcare is the only, or physical therapy is the only industry that discharges and cuts off their customers. Why do we do that? I don't know, but I don't do it in my business. That's for sure.
Right. And by and large, we all know the answer. It's the insurance company. It's the payer. People that are paying the bills are cutting it off. They're saying, hey, we've got to wrap this up. You're done. There's no more approved visits, and it is what it is there. So we're kind of stuck in that model. And like I said, I love that there's people like you that are out there breaking that model. That are out there going out, and actually creating something different, doing something different, finding a way to serve their people. Hey, Stephen, how's it going? So what you started out in the clinic, correct? Whenever you started out of school, right?
Oh yeah. I've worked outpatient PT, ortho, sports med for years, since 2011.
So can you contrast the two? What was it like to be in the brick and mortar and in the concierge cash business? What was the difference like? Because a lot of us, like me, we're stuck. We're stuck. We are in a model that we've chosen. We choose to stay in. So we don't really get to see what that other side is like. And maybe there's some people out there that are looking to do that, want to move that way, but just don't know how. So first off, you contrast the difference between the two so that people can kind of understand what it's like for you as a therapist.
The difference is, and this kind of goes into some of the common questions. So the difference is, originally I thought you actually needed a treatment table and equipment and more of the resources you have in an office, right? Most of the time it's half hands-on and it's half exercise or stability work or whatever, meaning half of it is hands-on therapy, where if I'm working in a clinic, I might only have my hands on a patient for 10 or 15 minutes when I was busy and I was having, 3 patients an hour or 4 patients an hour. You don't provide as much hands-on care for that patient, and then therefore you cannot provide the amount of one-on-one attention, like adjusting things, tweaking things, discussing the future plan of moving forward. You just don't have enough time. So it was interesting to get into that, where it was very stress-free. Like I had a lot more time to focus on someone. You have to be good clinically. Like I've done some McKenzie stuff. I do some hands-on stuff. You have to be good with like MOBs and manips, in my opinion, and joint mobilizations. But I do other things like some of the woo-woo stuff, like taping and cupping. And I do stuff that, like, whatever the patient or client has a perceived notion or understanding about, like sometimes we have to start that way, because to get them to the long run, you have to kind of meet them where they're at, rather than saying like, oh, I'm a doctor of physical therapy and like we don't do some of these things because it's, there's no research about it or whatever.
Right. I always say the same thing. If somebody comes in and I ask them if they've had therapy in the past and what their favorite thing was, if they say ultrasound, they're getting ultrasound. Like, I'm giving you ultrasound. Part of what I do is I want you to come back. So I want to provide the best possible experience that I can for you, right? I can't get you better if you don't show up in the clinic. So to that end, I'm always, trying to figure out what it is that they want. I'm going to give that to them, and then I'm going to give them what I really want to give them.
Right.
So I love that you said that, because we everybody gets around this evidence-based. Well, my patients are completing their plans of care. How's that for evidence? And
you're getting outcomes. People are getting better, right?
Right. And if they don't show up, if they quit, I'm not getting that outcome. I'm not getting them better. It doesn't matter how much more effective my exercise is. If they love that ultrasound and they only come back if I give that to them, I'm going to give it to them.
Right.
Hey, Chris, how's it going, man?
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of common like skeptical questions, or like, how could, like, is one-on-one for an hour visits? Like, there's therapists that don't even believe that people need that, or maybe some people do and some people don't. I don't know. But for my clients, my patients, they love the one-on-one hour-long, 60-minute long visits. And my therapists like it too, because it's hard to hire therapists to only go see someone for 30 minutes. Like if they actually only needed 30 minutes, it's still kind of hard you have to kind of prorate however you compensate them. So it's just a normal structure of an hour, and maybe you don't use the hour. Sometimes it's under, sometimes you go over, but it's definitely a different mindset. But it's the same hands-on skills. Whatever your skills are, if you have the skills and you do it in outpatient ortho or sports med clinics, whatever, you just bring those same hands-on skills to someone's home. And if you can make a meaningful change and get them feeling better on the first visit, do a MOB or a manip or something that changes their symptoms, or I do some of the TMR stuff right now, which is like blows my mind about how well it works. And so I offer 100% money back guarantee up to the 3rd visit. So I'm seeing someone and they're paying $250 for a visit. And I'm in New York City. I know some of you that listen to this, if you're other parts of the country, you probably won't even believe that I charge that. I have some patients that are paying $280 a visit, and we have their credit cards on file securely, so it's not even through insurance. But you have to think differently. Like I was completely skeptical about this a couple years ago. Like, there's no way someone would ever pay anything like that out of pocket. And it turns out, like, there actually there are, just like there's people that pay for, go shopping at Whole Foods and spend $200 or Ferrari or whatever. So.
Right. So yeah, man. And I love that. I love the fact that, there's people out there that are going out and getting exactly what they feel they're worth, setting your price, telling people this is what I charge. If you want to do business with me, great. If not, that's fine too. But this is what I am. This is how much I cost. And, take it or leave it. And I absolutely, I love that. So, I don't know how you're looking for time. I'm starting to get.
I'm good.
I wanted to talk about the promise that we made to people.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the Google review stuff.
Yeah. And why? So I'll get back to the Google review thing, but I want you to. In the pre-interview, you were talking about the NPS app that you have, and I want you to tell me more about it, because that actually results in sending patients the reminder and the link to do Google reviews. And right now, I'm doing a lot of that manually, so I actually need the thing that you were talking about.
Right. So it's a free iPad app. It's called ATIS NPS, and it's on the store. You can go get it. But what it is it is a review app. You put in all your information, you hint the patient, and we ask them that net promoter score. For the people who don't know it, how likely are you to refer a family or friend to us on a scale of 0 to 10? So they select that response. If they select a 9 or 10, it automatically sends them an email. And we also ask them another question if they're improving or not, because we also need to know that. You should know that anyway. So we ask them that, and then if they give you a 9 or a 10, they automatically get that email. It asks them to input their email. They input their email. It automatically sends them the email, right? And then when you're in front of them, then you can talk to them face to face and say, hey, I saw that you gave me a 9. It means the world to me that our relationship means that much. And, I was wondering, do you by chance have your cell phone? The answer is yes, they have their cell phone. Do you get your email on it? 95% of the time, yes. Well, actually, I just sent you an email. And if you wouldn't mind just opening it up and clicking on the link, it literally will only take you 30 seconds while we're together, because some people don't know me as well as you do. And sometimes the only way they find out about us is from our online reviews. So if you would just take literally 30 seconds and just give us a real quick review with that link, it would mean the world to me. It would help a lot of people that just don't know about me. So I have this app. I've been sharing it out there with everybody. A lot of people are really seeing a lot of benefit. Getting 150, 200 Google reviews in a year, depending on your volume. It's incredible.
Now the patient doesn't. They don't need to download the app, right? It's just they get an email.
No, you have the iPad. You hand them the iPad, and then it's got to send the email to their phone, because if the review came from your iPad, the IP address is going to throw up a flag. Google's not going to let the review happen. But when it goes from their phone, Google thinks it's organic, and it really is. We're just asking. And that's one of the limitations with net promoter scores, right? Nobody answers them. You send them to people via email or text, and you get a 15% response rate, 20% response rate. With this app, you get a 99% response rate. Somebody actually has to look you in the face and say no.
So you suggest doing that in person?
Absolutely, because if you only get 20% of the information, imagine you're doing an eval with somebody, and you can only get 20% of the information. How accurate is your diagnosis at the end going to be? Probably not very good, because you only have 20% of the information. So if I want to look at the health of my practice, I need more than 20% of the information. I need 100% of that information. This way you get it. You get all of that information from people. So that's part of it. So I'm interested in what you guys are doing, like how you guys are working. How did you climb from page, what was it, 43, 48, whatever it was, up to the first page?
Yeah, so I've only done a few Google ads, and then I paused it. It wasn't converting. It wasn't effective. So I'm not Google ads are effective overall, but I'm not, for this particular thing that helped me. You don't necessarily need Google ads, Google PPC ads. So what I did from about last year in October of 2018, I was around page 43, and then I started to kind of creep up. So the one thing is Google reviews. So the thing that we just reviewed, the thing we just went over, I think there's a couple opinions about how I went about it in terms of what matches kind of the algorithm, and then some of the things that I had done. So it's reviews, and then the cadence of reviews, meaning if you got a whole bunch, a snowball of reviews all at once, then Google's going to look at that and they're going to kind of ding you, because they're going to think that is something nefarious, something is not completely organic or true. So if you have reviews that are coming in kind of peppering in throughout your month, meaning every day, one a day, or every other day, Google looks at that as it's more organic. So obviously, if you can get a review, get it whenever, right? Of course, get it whenever. But if you have a choice of how to get it, then you actually want to kind of spread them out a little bit. Now that's tough, but if you're using the thing that I need to look at with Ray's app, is that I could actually control almost like a floodgate. I want to kind of control the amount of people doing the reviews. Because if I got 5 on one day, I got 3 reviews one day last month, and then I've only had like 1 or 2 since then. So that doesn't help my profile in Google's algorithm, because it looks like it's kind of more choppy, and it's not a consistent, smooth description of like my business credibility, right?
Right. And I've had people actually tell me the exact same. So they started using my app, and at first they weren't seeing the SEO kicking. They were getting tons of reviews. Once the reviews maintained and they kept coming, then that's when it went through the roof. So like there was a month or two where they're like, I don't understand. Like, I'm getting all these reviews. Why is this not improving my SEO? And then all of a sudden, and I spoke with somebody that does this, and they told me basically the same thing that you did. It's all of a sudden all these reviews out of nowhere from this business that's been there for 5 years or 4 years, and all of a sudden they have, they only had 5-6 reviews. Now they're getting 30-40 a month. So and it takes a while, but once you get past that first month, 2 months, then that SEO starts to really kick in and starts moving you up the page.
Yeah. So another couple things about it, but I want to point out, and I'm going to mention a couple names. This is not in terms of a couple names that I've outranked in terms of physical therapy practices and how maybe. And so right now for Home Physical Therapy NYC, meaning New York City, if you click the more places, Concierge Pain Relief, my practice is ranked 8th right now. Again, last year I was on page 43. Right now I'm outranking Spear Physical Therapy, and they have 168 Google reviews. I only have 26. I'm going to tell you my next point of why I think I'm also doing that. And then also one of my colleagues, one of my buddies, Karen Litzy, who is awesome physical therapist, podcaster. You guys probably know her. Karen Litzy has been a home mobile concierge physical therapist for like 10 years. And I just started this Google profile for my business last year, and I'm outranking her. But that's like her mobile home concierge physical therapy. That's like her thing. That's her thing. And she's awesome. She's one of my colleagues, and we're cool. But right now I'm outranking her. How is that possible? So the one thing, she only has 3 Google reviews. I have 26, but I've only been on the block for a year with my Google profile as a business. And she has been in business for 10 years. So the next point, we have Google reviews. The next point is Google posts. This is one thing that's super, super overlooked, is the Google posts, like Google My Business posts. You may only get a few views or a few clicks here or there, but you can add a picture. It's basically like a post, like a Facebook post, but it's a picture and you're adding a description. And the description has to be, in my opinion, we're talking about copywriting, and it has to be persuasive, and it has to have the keywords of what the people are searching in Google originally to find your practice. So for me, I'm using keywords like home physical therapy, in-home physical therapy, best physical therapy near me. I'm using those phrases and those words in my post. If you go to Concierge Pain Relief on Google, Concierge Pain Relief, I've not posted in September, but in August and in July, you're going to see how many posts that I did there. And they're long narrative posts. They're ethically trying to get a call to action. My call to action is call now. I list my website, URL, my link. I list my phone number in case they want to just dial it by looking at it. And then my call to action button is call now. Now, I've gotten a few calls from there, and then Google Analytics tracks those calls and tells me, here's how many calls you got based on people clicking on the post, the Google My Business listing, my Google post. Guys, if you focus 100% on Google, you can possibly do what I did, which is in less than a year, go from page 43, which is basically the desert, like you're dead, you don't even have a business there, to page 1, and I'm ranked 8th on page 1, and I've only had this Google business listing for less than a year. And it's because I'm following the things that actually work. And I am wasting zero time on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I have the Concierge Pain Relief, my practice. I don't do any post any videos. I know that's super popular to do Facebook posts and Facebook videos and lives and everything. For my business, I don't do any Facebook. I don't do any Instagram. I don't do any Twitter. It's 100% Google, because my patient, my prospective patient, my ideal customer is searching Google. And I'm also not going to doctors. I don't kiss ass and go to doctors. I'm not getting referrals from physicians. I have some patients who tell their doctors about me, and then they send patients my way. But my ideal patient is someone who is on Google, and they are searching for a solution for today or tomorrow, meaning they want it fixed, or they want their pain eased right now or tomorrow. Now, I know I'm in New York City, and some people, like, they'll just pay for whatever today or tomorrow, and maybe elsewhere in, Chris Erickson, I think, is still on here. I think he's in Nebraska. And if you're in somewhere, other states, maybe the behavior is different. I don't know. But you have to understand, and you have to know your ideal client and your ideal patient, whoever that customer might be. So for me, I'm 100% focused on Google. That was like a spout. Right. So I'll take a pause. Go ahead, jump in. What do you got?
Well, there were a couple of things that I want to jump in. No, number one, I love the joke. I'm sure everybody's heard it. What's the best place to hide a dead body? On page 2 of a Google search. Nobody goes there. So it's very important what you're saying. You need to be on page 1. Nobody's clicking through to page 2. Then the other thing that I noticed that you really did that I know improves you respond to your reviews. That improves your SEO.
Yep.
Responding to your reviews really improves your SEO, because they want to see that you're engaging on Google, that you're using the platform, because they want to show people that are searching for things that's going to keep them on Google. They want to show people that this is where you should come. This is where you can get a lot of information. This is where you can get interaction. Their entire goal is to get people using Google, to get people to keep using Google, and to get people to use Google more. So people that are doing what you're talking about, they're getting reviews, they're following up with the reviews, they're posting, they're making sure all their hours, all of everything is there. They are going to move you up the page because you're checking all of the boxes. So yeah, Chris. But
definitely got to reply to every single review. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your testimonial. Thank you for your review. We really appreciate the words. Whatever it might be, it takes 2 seconds.
Right. Yeah. And it's just the fact that you're doing it. It's just the fact you're doing it, and Google sees it. They're like, oh, there's a review to that. And they also, I've been hearing from some people that I've talked to that how fast you respond to that is also affecting it. They're looking at the time in response to the reviews, and I even heard if you get a negative review that if you respond quickly, that it doesn't ding you as much. So yeah, you have to respond. You've got to be out there. So anything else you'd like to share with everyone?
No, I mean, like I said, I wanted to provide a ton of valuable content for your audience. So guys, in my opinion, Facebook is good, but for our business, for our patients, if someone's scrolling through Facebook and you happen to get in front of them with a Facebook Live or an ad, in my opinion, you are getting in front of that person, that human being, when they are not interested in solving or addressing their issue, their pain, their back pain, their knee pain, their incontinence, their falls and balance, whatever is the issue. If they're scrolling on Facebook and you get in front of them, great that you got in front of them, but they aren't even in the mindset to do business. So in my opinion, if you don't have a marketing budget, or if you don't have a marketing team, if you're solo, or if you're just ramping up, if you're only at 5 or 10 grand a month, whatever, in my opinion, focus more on Google. I am focusing 100% on Google, because someone who finds me on Google is interested in solving the issue, or at least addressing the issue today, like right now. And that's the difference in the behavior of Google. Someone on Google searching for something, they're looking for something, they want help, they want an answer. If they're on Facebook, they're in entertainment land, they're in like la la land. They're looking to like unplug and just mindlessly scroll. So Google ads, Google reviews, Google posts, look into that. And I think Facebook is just always in the news for a bunch of different things. And there's Facebook ads trainings to, from every person in the world. But it's a different mindset of the prospective patient and customer that you're getting in front of on Facebook versus Google.
Right. Well, yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more. Like I'm of the theory, if there's a ton of traffic somewhere, if it's getting worn out, if it's getting worn down, then and there's a lot of traffic there, you probably shouldn't be there. You're not going to get seen as much. You're just going to blend in with the rest of the traffic. If there's somewhere that there's not as much traffic, that you can get more views, that you can get more people looking at you, more people seeing you, all whether they're in the mood or they're not in the mood, that definitely affects it. But all that aside, if you're somewhere that where people are going to see you more, that the traffic is going to notice you more, you should probably be spending more time there and less time somewhere that's really, really crowded, like Facebook. Facebook. How many physical therapy groups are there on Facebook? I mean, there's just gajillions now, and the people that got in early, like with the Cash PT forum or 101 forum, you guys have a lot more people within your group. I'm sure there's a number of reasons for that, but also it was just being there when it was in its infancy, when there wasn't traffic, and now there's tons of traffic. There is so much traffic here.
For sure. Let's pause that and let's go. I'll answer Katie Hellman's question. So she asked a question earlier. Dave, how do you manage, and I'm looking over here on my laptop. Dave, how do you manage the people underneath you since you're not brick and mortar with them? And how do you know if they are carrying out what you ask of them? Okay, so good question, Katie. So guys, if you're just jumping on the live now, or if you don't know me or whatever, I'm a home concierge mobile physical therapist, meaning I go to patients' homes, gyms, their office workplaces, whatever, and I do it like remotely. And I have currently 6 independent contractors seeing patients where my biller and I are doing the billing, charging of the credit cards and all the processing and the receipts and everything. And my independent contractors are going and seeing the patients in their homes. I obviously I can't even see what they do. I don't know what occurs. That is the biggest risk and liability of this business. So Katie's question is, how do I manage this experience and how do I manage the therapist and the patient care and the experience? Well, part of the answer is I cannot completely ever know. But the other part of the answer is I have to already have a good connection with the point of contact. The point of contact might actually be the patient. It might be a parent. It might be a son or daughter if the client is older. So whoever the point of contact is, and or the patient, or maybe it's a home health aide or whatever, I need to have phone number, texting ability, email address, whatever. It's specifically phone numbers, and communicate with the patient like, hey, Ray Berardinelli, my physical therapist came and, he's been working with you for the last 3-4 visits in your home. How are things going? And 99.9% of the time, patients are happy. They love Ray. They love whichever therapist is coming and seeing them. They're feeling better. They love the convenience service. They love that they can just like roll out of bed and a therapist is at their door and then they can go on with their day. So the answer is it's tough because I cannot see the independent contractors. I also get a question oftentimes of like, well, aren't you nervous about like the risk and liability and like you don't have full control over your brand and your company and all of that? The answer is like, that's the trade-off. I don't have to pay brick and mortar rents. What I do with my independent contractors, again, we're charging, on average $250 a visit. And I'm paying my physical therapist $80 to $100 per visit. But the patient is being charged $250. The margins are ridiculous. And right. I don't have to pay for an office, right? So the business is great. The therapists are getting paid really well. They love being paid that for an hour. And that's how I manage them. And there's actually a built-in compensation structure. There's a built-in like raise. So any new therapist, if you're watching this, if you're in New York City, or Brooklyn or whatever, if you're interested in coming onto my practice, this is what we say. You get paid $80 per visit for the first 15 visits at my practice. or, seeing mobile patients. It could be one patient, it could be multiple. However you get to 15 visits, you're compensated $80 per visit. Oftentimes you get paid the same day or within the next week, faster than other jobs where you got to wait 2 weeks. So you get paid faster and you get paid $80 per hour. The next 15 visits, you get paid $90 an hour. Once you get to 30 total visits, you're at $100 an hour, $100 per visit. The documentation, again, is very, very minimal that we talked about in the beginning of the live here. Yeah. And then there's negotiation power for you, and there's room because we're charging patients $250 a visit for me to even, no one has gotten to that higher level of past $100 per visit. But I would be open to paying a therapist $110 a visit, $120, $130, whatever, because there's still a 50% or more margin on the top line of what I'm charging patients and the compensation of therapists. And you guys, if independent contractors going and seeing patients, like I have not heard of any practice anywhere in the country in a 1099 situation that's mobile, paying their therapist anywhere close to $100 a visit, if not more. So the patients, it's like the PTs, it's like an at-will employment opportunity. And the other risk of like this is that they build a better relationship with that patient than I can. And yes, it's possible that they might steal that patient in the future or undercut me and charge the patient, $100 a visit. That's possible. And I'll live with that because I'm the one with the marketing machine that we just talked about Google and everything. I'm the one with the marketing machine. So if you want to go steal one patient or a few here and there, that's fine. I can never, unless I hire a private investigator to follow every physical therapist, which would be like ridiculous. Unless I did that, there's no way for me to ever know. So that's the downside. But the upside is that I don't have to pay for a brick and mortar office. If I want to pay for a physical therapy office in Brooklyn or in New York City and rent an office, it's going to be like 10 or 20 grand a month.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway.
So I love some of the stuff you're talking about. Number one, this is all systems. Like this is my jam. This is what I do. The systems for tracking, the systems for the engagement. So you can control the patient experience some with your systems, knowing these net promoter scores, knowing what they are by therapists, being able to look at them by therapists, to segment them out to see exactly how people are performing in relation to other people, seeing their number of Google reviews, how many they're getting. Then I don't know if you're using like any email marketing, like, your email welcome systems, making sure that those systems are all there, that they're tight, that every patient is getting every email, that the therapists know when the emails are going and they're saying, hey, did you get my email? Because you're going to improve their open rates. And I know sometimes in the business it's a little bit different. It might be a son, a daughter, or somebody else that's getting the email. Right. But as much as you can control it, you can make sure that people are getting your emails, getting your text messages, opening everything. All of your follow-up there. You can even see if patients potentially might have been lost in a nefarious way, through your outreach to them. If that's automated. Because if you're sending them a voicemail saying, hey, we wanted to thank you so much, and it's coming from their therapist saying, hey, we wanted to thank you so much for using our services. I know it's been about a month since we last saw you. I just want to make sure you're doing well, right? So if that ringless voicemail goes out and the patient calls in and says, hey, I don't know why I got this, I'm still being seen. Well, I know some stuff.
Yeah. I definitely want to work more on those systems and hear with the webinar that you have coming up about the ringless voicemail. I had heard that on like a Neil Patel, the marketing school podcast that Neil Patel and Eric Sue has on iTunes. And the ringless voicemail is genius. And you can make it like, hey, this is Dave, your physical therapist, and whatever the message that is. And it sounds like someone like they just called you. And for some reason, you left a voicemail and you missed the call or whatever.
The place that been testing this, split testing the heck out of it, testing this for a year and a half now. The place that it's incredible is for people that drop off, right? Because when the therapist calls,
I want to hear what's actually in the voicemail for drop offs.
Oh, for the drop offs, it'll say it's me at my practice. Hey, this is Ray at Medicare. Hey, I was just reviewing and I saw you haven't been in the past week. I hope everything's okay. Hey, whenever we discussed during initial visit how important adherence to the plan of care is in order for you to be able to get your life back. So, hey, if you get a minute, just please give me a call. Let me know what's going on, so that we can get you back and get your life back. Hey, sorry I missed you. So and it automatically goes out. Like when they hit the drop-off list, the front office reviews, and then there's text and there's emails. So there's it's funnel back.
Right.
So that's where it's just incredible. It works amazing. And if people aren't getting their prescribed visits, people that in my practice I wasn't even paying attention to be perfectly honest. Like somebody's coming 2 times a week, their plan of care is for 3. I'm busy. They're showing up. I don't notice that it's only twice. The system does it. It spits it out and says, hey, they've only been here 2 times a week. And then the automated system, same thing. Ringless call, text, emails. We engaged them. And then the big thing is on the app when you get the notification that call went. So you say to the patient, hey, did you get my call? So now they have no idea. Now they think it's really real because not only did they get it, you're asking them about it on the next visit because the system's kicking it out, putting it into your app and telling you, hey, you sent them this call, you sent them this email,
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a long time since you've seen it, but yeah, it's definitely changed.
Yeah. All right. We got a question from Jared Mann. He's, do you allow patient then Medicare, or I don't know if you're asking, Jared, can you clarify the question? If you're asking if I see Medicare patients or private insurance, or clarify the question for me if you can, and post another comment for your question. But for us, no, we do not see Medicare. We do not bill Medicare. Medicare in New York City or in the state of New York, I think reimburses about 100 visits. $100 per visit. So if I'm paying my therapist $80, $90, or $100 a visit, there's no real margin there for my business. So
right, and then you have your billing costs and
right. So no, we do not. And if someone has Medicare, there's a whole other conversation we could have. But if someone on Medicare has exhausted all their funds and their visits for the year, arguably they could be seen. Or if they don't have severe pain or any acute injury, then there's a way to there's some loopholes around wellness. And if it's just like exercise and it's not skilled care. So he said, bill. No. So Jared, I do not bill Medicare. Like I said, if someone, if someone has Medicare as a secondary insurance, I just heard this from my biller recently. If someone has Medicare as their secondary, they are not considered Medicare. They still have that primary, whatever commercial insurance is their primary. So yes, Chris just said you're either par or non-par with Medicare. So I am definitely not par. I am definitely par with collecting a credit card. I'll tell you that much. Like that's how we operate. But like I said, at the end of the day, I'm providing, and my practice, we're providing a valuable experience for patients and clients that want to retain us ongoing. I have a couple patients that are like neuro-based, and I see them once a week for the past 3 years, because it's a chronic condition. It's an ongoing condition. I've had patients where I see them in their homes and then they're busy and they're like, hey, if you're nearby in my office in Manhattan, would you be able to stop by in my office later in the week around these times? And so either myself or my teammates are flexible enough to be like, actually, yeah, I'm going to be in that area, so I could see you in your office there, or I could see you in your home. I've treated a patient for an elbow surgery, post-op elbow surgery, who is a top sushi chef here in New York City. And I was with him working on his elbow in his restaurant before the restaurant opened a random day, right? So I've been in hotel rooms for people that come into Manhattan, into New York City to get surgeries. And they're from Dubai and they're from, England and all different countries. And they stay in a hotel room for 2 weeks and then they fly out. So it's a really unique, flexible, adaptable situation. Again, high margin. It's high touch in terms of like the interaction and the time you spend with patients. So it's high touch, but it's also high margin, and it can be really, really profitable even for the teammates, the physical therapists who are 1099s, because they're getting compensated pretty well. And they love that, and they don't have to deal with billing. They don't have to deal with like any significant documentation. So yeah.
Yeah, I can see how that's attractive to people. From someone that's been in the system a long time, and Noah, who just hopped on, he's kind of in the same boat. Being in network with the majority of people, there's that not having to deal with that stuff, especially as a business owner, is very attractive, because that's a significant amount of your time, significant amount of your worry. Then got to worry about audits, it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anything else you want to share, Dave?
No, we're coming up to 1 p.m. So I got to run soon, guys. But if you're here live, let me know if you have any comments or questions. If we end the call and maybe you just missed it or you watched the replay, you can just tag me or ask a question later. Anything about, charging patients out of pocket, like whatever, setting your own rates, raising your rates, or if you're in network like Ray and you're trying to do more out of network, you're probably going to have some trouble and some challenge overcoming objections to paying out of pocket. So I had written some notes down about that type of stuff, which is like, you have to know your ideal patient, your ideal client. And everyone is just going to assume that they can use their health insurance and their $20 copay. And they have no idea what a deductible is most of the time. And you have to get ready for all of the common objections because they don't really know you, like you, or trust you yet. They don't even know who you are and all that, unless it's a warm referral. So you have to be ready for all of those things. You have to be ready for the common objections about price. They want to think about it. They need to speak with their spouse. They want to sleep on it. They want to think it over. They want to pray about it. They want to stall. They want to have an excuse to slow the process down. So you have to be smooth and professional with all these responses. And because of how much we've seen patients and had these conversations about charging out of pocket, and we provide a receipt and they can maybe get reimbursement from their insurance, but it's just a different approach. And the more experience you have with that and the more confidence you have with that, speaking to prospective patients, then you get a lot more comfortable. But you have to know all the things that they're going to say before they say it. So for me, for example, on a prospective new patient first phone call, I like to mention the word insurance before they say the word insurance. Now, if I say the word cost, insurance, and logistics, because I say cost, insurance, logistics meaning because we go to the patient. If I say the cost, insurance, and logistics, I say the word insurance first. That means I'm in control of the insurance conversation, not the prospective patient who's calling me up. And oftentimes it's tough because people, the first sentence is you answer the phone, Ray, at Medicare, and I'm going to say, hey, do you take United Healthcare? And then you got to say, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. What's your name? And try to build some rapport. But you got it. If you want to control the cadence of the conversation, you have to know exactly what people are going to say, all the common objections, all the questions, all the uncertainties. And so that just, that comes with practice and time. But that was just another thing I wanted to mention.
Right. Yeah. Now we're into Jerry's jam here, that first phone call and winning the first phone call. And so you have to know the objections ahead of time. You have to have the response ahead of time. And you even have to go, like you said, one step further. You have to initiate the conversation about it. Steer the conversation where you want, overcome their objection before they even voice it.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
and we could talk about that all day.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So and I'm going to have to get running here too. But first, thank you so much. I really
Thank you
appreciate
for having me.
Coming on here, Dave, sharing with everybody, dropping a whole bunch of knowledge on everybody here to really kind of help some people in the group out. And thanks for your time, man.
Thank you very much. And like I said, I just wanted to provide you guys with a bunch of value. And if you wanted to connect with me more, feel free to shoot me a private message. Friend me on Facebook if you want. That's like Facebook used to be just like family only, and now it's like physical therapy colleagues that I've never even met. So hey, go ahead and do that. And if you want to, guys, check out our website, you can check out www.cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org. If you wanted to, connect with me more, we have free resources there. You guys can download and check out, and videos and whatnot. So you can check out cashbasedphysicaltherapy.org or Cash Based Physical Therapy on YouTube. We have a bunch of free content and a bunch of free videos there. So check it out. Thank you.
All right. Sounds great, Dave. Hey, thanks again for your time, and thank you so much for sharing with everybody. I appreciate you being willing to come on here and help everybody in the group out.
You're welcome. Anytime. Bye now.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good one.
You too.